So guys, there's a huge problem in the Murder Mystery 2 community that's been slowly getting more and more of an issue. I'm sure most of you have tried this once before, but if you search up Murder Mystery, you'll see Murder Mystery 2, but also you'll see so many knockoff versions of Murder Mystery 2. Which is very weird that there's so many copies of Murder Mystery 2, because not a lot of Roblox games have an issue like this. Like if you search up like Adopt Me, there's like a couple knockoff games like So Little Players, but that's about it. You can also search up like Jailbreak, and then there's like no copies at all. So how come Murder Mystery 2 has so many copies? So at first glance, these knockoff murder mystery games seem sort of harmless and just seem like people like inspired to make their own games. But what if I were to tell you there's actually like a dark secret that the MM2 copy devs are hiding from you? I will go into one of these games so I can explain it to you, like Murder Mystery Z with the Ice Crusher. Something that I don't have a use made. They're not really allowed to use that, or this picture right here. So we load into Murder Mystery Z, and as you can see, this is literally just Murder Mystery 2. Like they straight up ripped the game for themselves somehow. But the main reason why people like these games is because of what is in the shop. Because if you go into the shop, you can actually see all of these boxes that are almost completely free. See, I don't have any gems right here, but I'm able to like straight up buy these, which is kind of cool. But the big issue is that you can see the hot items right here. You can see 4 different Christmas chromas. If you click on them, they cost 49 Robux, but you actually have to spend real money to get these items in a fake murder mystery game, you know? In my opinion, it's kind of lame that a murder mystery copy game would just have a bunch of microtransactions in it, but you know what? Maybe that was just one bad game, and the rest of them might seem like more like legit inspired murder mystery game. But let's go to Nicholas's Murder Sandbox, you know? Part of me feels like Nicholas didn't actually make this, but you know, let's go into this game as well. Keep in mind that this game specifically has like 16,000 players. My friend actually showed me this earlier today, and that's like over a tenth of the real MM2's players, which is kind of scary how big some of these copy games are getting. But as you can see, it's a very similar style. It's just like a complete murder mystery copy, but then they got microtransactions all throughout the lobby, which was sort of my main issue with the last one. See, it's almost the exact same. And there's like Robux items here, but then like cheap items here to like keep you guys playing, but to make you want to spend like your Robux on like some of these items, you know what I'm saying? Or how about this game called Murder Mystery X? As soon as I join in, I immediately get a microtransaction, but at first glance, it doesn't actually look like a Murder Mystery 2 copy. It just looks like an inspired game, right? I mean, they do just have microtransactions all throughout the lobby, just a literal circle of microtransactions. But yeah, believe it or not, this game is also a copy from another game called Murder Mystery X, like the game that was made in 2017. Actually, was pretty popular for a while. They just ripped the assets from that game to this game, so you can kind of see the issues with a lot of these games here. They have very cheap items, and in some cases even free items to sort of make you want to keep playing to get like some of these rare items when you can get them very easily, but it's like cool to have them. And the more you play these games, the more you want to like buy like all the Robux items in this game. It legit means that the developers of this game are profiting off of just taking Nicholas's game and like changing it up like a tiny bit, like putting like 10 minutes of effort into their game, and they're making a lot of Robux off of it. Which, believe it or not, there's actually like rules against this from happening. Like, why don't we go to the Roblox terms of service right here? You guys know about this. If we scroll down a little bit here, we see restrictions of use on services. User may not lease, lend, sell, redistribute, blah blah blah, copy, modify, distribute, publicly perform or display, which basically means don't take other people's games and make them your own that are just slightly different. And they call themselves MM2 modded games, but you know, when I think of modded games, I think of like Minecraft, but you have a gun, or like Pokemon, but you start off with Mewtwo. Not this. This is just MM2, but you can buy like chroma items or admin command or something with Robux. I actually made a tweet talking about the issues with like Murder Mystery 2 copy games. I don't remember why I made this tweet. I guess I was just angry that one day. But one of the developers of some of these Murder Mystery copy games actually reached out to me. They were explaining how they're better than MM2 because they update more often, which doesn't really make much sense since they're using stolen assets from MM2 for their game, and all of their updates just use more stolen stuff. Like, it's like if someone was robbing a bank and they're all like, we're gonna make our own bank and it's gonna be much better than this one, while using the stolen money from that bank. Like, you can see how that doesn't really make much sense here. The guy then makes a public tweet saying that he quote-unquote respects my opinion, which I wouldn't really call it an opinion. Let's go back to the bank example and say someone was robbing a bank and I show up saying stealing is wrong, and then they say, oh, I respect your opinion that stealing is wrong, but I like stealing money and I'm going to keep doing it. Like, that's such a strange thought process to think that I'm like giving an opinion when it's just an actual rule that you can't be doing these things. And they go on to say that it's true that they do it for money, but aren't all Roblox devs doing it for money? money and that Nicholas only cares about money. This is just stupid because yeah, of course Roblox devs make games for money. Developing games can be a full-time job for some people, but there are rules in place on what you can do with your game. Like I said earlier, stealing assets, it's not something you can do for your game and make money off of. You might be thinking, oh, that's only one guy, but now all the MM2 copy devs are like this. How about let's go over to a different exchange between an MM2 copy dev against some real MM2 staff members like Primarchs and Peepsters. Like this dev was making a Christmas update for their game while saying that all the MM2 assets are removed and it's a copyright-free update, which is just completely wrong and it was still an MM2 game. And then Primarchs replied to this saying, you quite literally have my assets and so many of Xylia's and Nicholas's assets still in the game. If you didn't make them yourself or pay someone to make them, they are not yours to use. You cannot steal people's work and then use it as a placeholder. Which then the copy dev says I could DM Joven asking if I could use assets for my game or even pay him if I can use them. If he says no, I'll just delete them from my game. And then Peepsters pops in saying generally you're supposed to ask for permission first. You don't just use stuff other people made in your game without asking first and then go to them all like, oh no, I'm sorry, please let me use your hard work in my monetized game. Which then the copy guy says kind of hard to contact the main MM2 developers since none of them would respond, but then Peepster says no response doesn't mean automatic yes. If you don't get a response, you don't use the asset. It isn't rocket science. If that Twitter argument with real MM2 staff isn't enough to convince you, how about let's go to this tweet made by MM2 staff member Update only a couple hours ago. I said anyone involved in the use of MM2 assets for any reason face consequences. It may result in getting banned from JD or MM2 or sharing those stolen assets for games for profit or concepts to stand out to devs is not authorized and you will be banned. Thanks. If that doesn't convince you, even Nicholas himself made a response to this a few years ago once these copy games started to show up. And Nicholas said, just want to let you guys know that Murder Mystery 3 does not exist. Any game with Murder Mystery in the name is a ripoff, and anyone who is working on parts of these games is not a part of Murder Mystery 2. And despite all of this, there are still so many MM2 copy games out there making millions of Robux. The devs of these games even know that what they're doing is wrong though. The MM2 team has been taking down a lot of these stolen games, but the devs will just re-upload the games to different places and then act like nothing even happened. Sometimes these developers' Roblox accounts will even get banned, but they just make new accounts to keep making stolen MM2 games. Like, it feels like it's nearly impossible to get rid of these MM2 copy games. Like, the only real way to get rid of them is if Roblox actually takes some serious action against these games. But you guys know Roblox. I mean, if the MM2 devs reach out to them, they will take down some of these games, but they're not gonna put in the time to make sure this doesn't happen again. So look, I'm not gonna tell you to stop playing these stolen MM2 games. I'm not your dad, alright? I also know that this video won't make much of a change to these stolen games. I doubt that MM2 copy devs will see this video made by someone with 17k subs and be like, pack it up, boys, you've been exposed for good. I just want you guys to know exactly what you're getting yourself into when playing these types of games and the real truth behind these type of games. But yeah, guys, I believe that's about all I gotta say, so I'm gonna end this video off here. So until next time, goodbye!